This is Chapter 2, Economic Systems, discussion number 3, Comparing Economies. So what are the goals of economies, or specifically, what is the goal of a free enterprise or market system? We also have to realize that a lot of what we see are the goals of the free enterprise system are a way that we can measure how our style of economy measures up against other economies. First thing we aim for, economic freedom. Everyone has the ability and the opportunity to make their own economic decisions. We get that from the idea of private property and political and economic freedom. One of the things that we do to measure these ideas is we also take a look at the standard of living. What is the material well-being of how well needs and wants are satisfied within a particular economy? For example, we have a lot more opportunity to buy a lot more stuff, and we have a lot more productivity in the United States than, say, Cuba. So our standard of living is higher because we have clean water, better medical facilities, and more stuff available, and our style of living is comfortable. We also want to have the idea of economic efficiency. We don't want to waste resources. And so that is also a measurement of how well do you efficiently use what you have. We also have the goal or the idea of economic stability. People want to know what's going to happen in the future. Now, while we don't pull out a crystal ball, we also want to see that does the economy stay fairly stable so that changes are gradual and predictable, or are things so out of control that no one knows whether a proper investment now is going to even be around in 2 years, whether it be because of rioting or the government likes to take stuff away from people, or that the governments can't even stay put because there's constant overthrows of the political power. Is the money going to be worth something, or is the money value fluctuate, or is there a great amount of inflation? Those are all examples of what can happen with economic stability being in question. We also want the idea of economic growth. Population is growing. In order to even remain stable, we have to have some type of growth in order to accommodate the extra population. But do we want to stay put, or do we want to improve on the economic situation and the economic growth and the economic productivity? That's where we talk about growth. We also have the idea of economic responsibility. The fact that you are here on planet Earth just like everyone else, and that you must be a functioning member of our society, you must be a productive member of our society, and how do we take care of that, or how do you accomplish that? Two other ideas that show up that really cause a lot of amount of debate, both politically and economically, are the last two on our list: economic equity and economic security. Everyone benefits fairly. Now, that term fairly is extremely loaded. We have people who believe that fairly means is that everyone ought to have the same benefits of health care, the same benefits of pay, the same benefits of property, the same benefits of transportation, and the list goes on and on. There are other people who would say that fairly means if you worked hard for it, you should get more. And so, and of course, there's a lot of area in between that where people probably fall more along the spectrum and they're not so much on the extreme ends of that line. But again, that is an extremely loaded question as far as what does fairly mean. And then we also have economic security. There are a lot of people who believe that economic security means that you have the opportunity to succeed and you also have the opportunity to fail miserably. Whereas there are other people who are saying that we should be able to cover for anybody's mistakes and to help them get back on their feet and get right back to everyone else's standard. Um, when we deal with economic security, again, we're talking a lot about Social Security, the healthcare benefits, and things of those variety, where we as in a society and as through our government have decided that we are going to establish some type of economic security, and then it becomes to us to decide how much are we going to provide for everyone else. This concludes discussion number 3, Comparing Economies, of Chapter 2, Economic Systems. This also concludes the entire chapter discussions for Chapter 2, Economic Systems.